All right, welcome everyone. We're gonna kick things off right now. I see we're loading up strong here. Let me turn this down. Hopefully, you enjoyed some nice lo-fi radio to start your session here. But yeah, welcome everybody to another episode of Chain in Focus. This one is featuring Kadena. So for anybody who's maybe unfamiliar with these sessions and attending for the first time, I'm just gonna set the stage, give a little bit of context, and then invite our guest speaker to introduce themselves for the day. So starting things off here, these Chain in Focus sessions are part of a series that we've launched at DIA, where we welcome the blockchain foundations behind chains with which DIA has partnered and deployed. And the goal is to have them share with us information about their chain, their vision, right, what they're building to achieve, and to explore the significance of DIA's integration into their ecosystem. We see across the blockchain landscape, there's truly a multitude of L1 and L2 chains launching. And at DIA, as a cross-chain Oracle provider, it is of vital importance to be up to speed following industry trends and integrating with as many of these promising chains as possible. Today, we have a really interesting, innovative, and promising chain as we welcome on Kadena, which is a proof-of-work blockchain written in Pact with a goal of infinite scalability and a mission to power the human layer of blockchain. We're going to dive into what this means, all that and more today. But first, I want to welcome NTG onto the stage. Are we going with NTG all day? I have a history of doxing, so how can I refer to you today, NTG?
You can call me Nick Dillon, no problem. It's okay.
What's
don't
up,
give away
Nick?
my home address.
Awesome. Hey, Nick, great to have you. Thank you for joining us. How's everything going today?
Yeah, good. It's like really good. I mean, it's pretty sunny here in Greece, so it's can't complain. And been busy, been busy. I think did I see you in Austin, at Consensus? I can't remember if I did see you or not, but I'm going to be seeing you next week anyway for ETC.
That's
So
right.
lots and lots of stuff going on. Yeah, excited. And thanks for having me.
Awesome. No, it's definitely a pleasure. We've known each other um, in real life now for quite some time. So awesome to have you on stage here and share with us all the exciting things that you guys are really focused on. Bring this to life and share this with the communities, what we've been doing together and Kadena's positioning now and moving forward. So maybe we could just kick things off with an introduction on your side, Nick. We always like to start with a little bit of background and just, a quick hearing from our speakers about their journey and how long they've been in the crypto space and, kind of where they're at now in terms of their role on, let's say, the Kadena team.
Sure. I mean, so, pretty decent history in crypto. I first kind of got interested 2015 2014. Someone said, have you seen this Bitcoin thing? And I started going down the rabbit hole 2015 properly. Had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Gavin Wood in London, whilst he was actually still with Ethereum back in the day, and that really kind of sparked my interest in terms of what's going on. But by kind of trade and training, came from TradFi, so worked within a couple of tier one investment banks, and then a hedge fund, and did a fair bit of kind of tech consultancy in London from 2016 onwards, and then dived in full time with my first actual role in Web3, working in a DEX in the Cosmos ecosystem, and joined Kadena probably about 14, 15 months ago to kind of lead DeFi. And I kind of say it in this way of open bracket, close bracket, launching DeFi on Kadena, and obviously that's how we've got a nice partnership going with you guys at Dia.
Absolutely. And I mean, let's just dive in right from there, right? You mentioned open bracket, closed bracket, launching DeFi at Kadena, but so many of us in the audience are aware of the pretty thorough and broad history of Kadena within the blockchain space, right? So what does that really mean in your eyes? How is what's the status of Kadena today? How has this evolved over the years? Because even in the last cycle, right, when I was before I entered, also my experience working in Web3 when I was just more on the investment side, you couldn't go anywhere to a crypto meetup without hearing about Kadena. So there's been a lot of relevance surrounding Kadena for quite some time. How has this evolved, and what do you guys how has this changed as you're currently positioned today?
Yeah, look, I mean, the Kadena story is like, it's a fantastic story. It was built at JP Morgan, which a lot of maybe kind of decentralized maxis might think, what does that mean? But it was actually archetyped, and like Will and Stu created Chainweb, the actual blockchain itself, and packed the smart contract with language, which is kind of like Haskell based, I would say. But it was created even from its origin to manage, you know, millions of transactions simultaneously. It was created for FX, equities, fixed income trading, for JP Morgan. It was, I would kind of say, like the Onyx before Onyx, and it was a private blockchain up until I think 2019, and then it switched to a public blockchain. So it's got the kind of even pedigree, and it's always had that purpose of being able to manage extremely large volumes of transactions simultaneously, and with the added edge, and this is really the kicker for me, because as you know, Dylan, I'm obviously a big Bitcoin fan as well, and it's all done on a proof of work chain, and it's got a very solid and existing kind of miner network. We've never had any kind of stoppages, anything of that kind. it's not built in Solidity. It's not something that we're kind of afraid to say. It's all the smart contracts are built within Pact, which it's obviously got some advantages. It has some disadvantages as well, obviously, for maybe having portability for some of the Ethereum dApps, etc. But as we've seen, a lot of Solidity builders, once they kind of get stuck into Pact, they actually prefer it, and they quite enjoy building some stuff in it. We've been recently, and I say recently, probably in the last 12, 18 months, we've been looking at zero knowledge even before it was really trendy. And our CTO is a big fan of the applications and use of zero knowledge within blockchain. We've recently hired a new chief business officer, who my boss, so obviously good, but fantastic, really, really kind of like reinvigorated and energized a lot of the direction and and I guess like strategic planning that we've got for the next 6, 12 months, with maybe a bit more of a kind of where TradFi meets DeFi perspective. And we've got some really kind of exciting dApps and apps and builders that have built some decent stuff on there. We've got a really prominent Deepin project that's been cranking along. It's called Crank with two Ks. And obviously some dexes. We've got a supply chain. We've done some bits and pieces with private enterprise as well, on the maybe supply chain stuff. Another project called DNA, and also a certification business specifically for developers, and bringing on um, online certificates, and making sure that when you're seeing what someone's actually achieved and completed within a course, it's real and it's not fake, and it just takes away all the hassle of having to go and kind of treble check that what you're being told is true. We've got some games on there, got some gaming stuff. I see Ron is in the audience, Wizards, um, and yeah, a couple of others as well. So it's not doing too badly. We've got decent stats on the transaction volumes, like 350, 400,000, I think, kind of daily. And obviously it's all helped by having extremely low transaction fees.
I love it. I love to see the members, these DApp teams within the Kadena ecosystem here on the call today, right? Showing their strength. So shouts out to all of you guys who are, showing your the strength of the ecosystem here and attending. Really appreciate that. Also really interesting. Didn't know that Chainweb and Pact itself was originally, conceptualized and developed by JP Morgan. So just to clarify again, anybody in the audience, who's kind of trying to familiarize themselves with these terms, right? Kadena, and correct me, Nick, if I'm mistaken here at all, but Kadena is essentially the foundation behind and that's supporting the development of Chain Web. So Chain Web is how you refer in the name of the blockchain that is actually being developed here, right? The proof of work
That's
blockchain.
correct, yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's take this a little bit high level, real quick again, because you jumped through a bunch of exciting things there, right? You mentioned, and first of all, I think it's super important to hone in on the fact that Chainweb is itself a proof of work blockchain. In contrast to today's kind of like blockchain landscape, where seemingly the most, if not like 90% of blockchains launching are proof of stake, right? Can you take us through that? Why originally was Chainweb launched as proof of work? And maybe walk us through some of the pros and cons of, still having a proof of work blockchain, in an industry where the evolution is suggesting perhaps, favor it towards proof of stake.
Sure. So Stuart Popejoy, the co-founder, and Will Martino, obviously extremely big fans of the security aspects that Bitcoin provided. Even back in the day when there weren't really a million different EVMs. You only really had kind of Ethereum and I guess Ethereum Classic once Ethereum forked. But really, really a big advocate of the strong security aspect that you get from that proof of work system. And one of the kind of key advisors that we have at Kadena that is extremely useful and helpful for lots of different members of the team is a chap called Stuart Haber. Stuart Haber, who many people may not necessarily have heard of, he's one of the most cited individuals in Satoshi's original white paper for Bitcoin. And I think when he obviously saw the kind of like architecture and dynamics of how Chainweb itself would be functioning, was very excited to get involved with the project. Chainweb itself, it acts as braided chains. So even though it is technically one chain, it's actually acting as 20 chains currently. It was initially it was one, then it was 5 chains, now it's 20. The kind of infinite scalability comes from the fact that as we need it, as the transaction volumes require it, you can add additional chains into Chainweb. So you could scale it from 20 to 40, for example, if you wanted to tomorrow. And you could take your TPS from 500 to 2,000 up to probably what would be I think from the estimates, 400,000 TPS would be your perfect number. But having that braided effect of the actual chains means that you maintain a proof of work network whilst being able to actually scale it. Which, as much as I love Bitcoin, don't get me wrong, anyone who's seen anything with maybe ordinals or runes or some of the other attempts at kind of inscriptions, your transaction fees go crazy and nothing settles on Bitcoin, and you're waiting 4 hours for a block to settle. So that's where the initial kind of thinking and architecture for it came from.
Nick, I love chatting with you because it's so funny how we have these like similar um, like passions and focuses in the crypto space, right? Like you were originally like a heavy Polkadot guy and went into Cosmos with the app chain infra. Now you have a huge focus on the Bitcoin landscape and right, developing proof of work blockchains. I feel like whenever we chat, we get along, we get on with these conversations. So
It's
it's
true. It's true.
it really is.
You've given away my portfolio history right there.
Hey,
It's
I'm just summarizing. I'm just summarizing what you've said so far. No, that's super cool, right? Because we all understand, or at least the benefits of having proof of work on security and decentralization are cannot be argued against, right? But then when you look at the limitations there, right, you run into the trilemma with scalability. And so it's interesting how you guys are taking this braided approach, right, to kind of combat these limitations and scalability. And when you look at Kadena at a high level, one of the overall visions and promises is this term infinite scalability. One thing I want to relate that back to, and that I wanted to ask you about, was when the kind of like when you log onto the Kadena website, or rather when you access it, the largest bold letters on the site read "powering the human layer of blockchain." Right? We've already learned that this was originally created by JP Morgan, and they created this at its origin to support millions of transactions and support scalability. What does this mean, right? When we look at scalability, when we look at all these things connecting, proof of work, what is the vision powering the human layer of blockchain really mean, and how does that relate to Kadena's architecture and goals?
it's an interesting one because I mean, even as I was walking the kind of conference halls of ETH Denver and again at Consensus, it was the first time that I actually saw other blockchains kind of even including the word human on it, since the very first kind of conferences I went to, and it was actually something that Stuart Haber coined on a we used to do these kind of like YouTube videos with Stuart Pope joined Stuart Haber, and really what we mean by it is we're not trying to enable technology to suddenly overpower exactly what we're trying to do in real life. We're trying to empower people to be able to do things. So for example, with the let's say we take the developer certification, um, that was kind of created. They've got like 100,000 developers that are we're talking like JavaScript, TypeScript, Rust, etc. They're completing online courses, and they're learning, they're adding value to themselves, and at the end of it, they're getting a certificate. Unfortunately, with a lot of maybe interview processes and things like that are going on, it's extremely difficult to tell, or it's extremely expensive, or it's extremely rigorous to have to verify, did this person actually complete this piece of training? And really, so if you want to try and maybe take a practical example of how that human layer comes in, if you can instantly verify if what someone is telling you is correct based on on a blockchain transaction and what happened at a certain point in time, you're actually empowering humans to show what their value is and show what their worth is. So I know it sounds a tiny bit abstract, but there's other applications for it as well. And really, what we're trying to do is make people's lives easier. We're trying to make it so that your management of your own kind of personal wealth on chain is easier. It's always annoying, like if something goes wrong with your bank account and you have to suddenly go to customer service and you're on hold for 3 hours. This is the whole point of maybe why DeFi is going to be so important in the next few years. And we just wanted to really make it obvious that we genuinely care about, obviously, people. And even though we're a technology company, we're not like maybe the technology companies that simply just want your data and and want to palm you off to whoever you might be. And really, like, our main purpose and focus is trying to empower humans to do more things and have a better life, in some way, shape, or form.
It's a very large, goal, right? And it's the goal that we need more teams to be focused on in this space. When I chat with like my friends who aren't in the space, they say, okay, I'll get involved in crypto when it can actually impact my everyday life, right? Like what's the go to market use case for bringing the masses online. And I just want to pick your brain on this a little bit more, right? You mentioned like management of personal wealth. um, if you don't mind, just kind of like brainstorming and shooting through this with
Hit
me
me
a little
with the
bit.
hard ones,
Well,
Dylan. Hit me
it's
with a
just
hard
like,
question.
you know,
It's
you know,
like,
Nick.
think about it like this. Think about it like this, right? So, in terms of how many billions and billions of people are out there, right? So, if you want to go and set up a bank account, then you need to fit certain criteria. You need to be able to even maybe go to a branch. You need to have, maybe you need to receive a debit card from the bank, or you need to rely on Apple Pay or Google Pay or whoever it might be to add your card details there. If you then think about it from a kind of decentralized aspect, you don't need any of these things. All you need is a wallet and either a smartphone or a laptop or a computer, and you're off to the races. You can purchase insurance on chain now. There's so many different aspects of what has always been not easy to attain for the vast majority of the planet's population, which is now attainable through decentralized applications, or um, through specific blockchains that are offering services. So it's always like banking the unbanked is always a really good way of saying it, but that is genuinely a problem. I was recently in Indonesia, and obviously cash is king out there, but there's barely any ATMs in some of the areas where you have vibrant villages there. So, and there's definitely no banks, or bank branches, etc. But ironically, they've got Wi-Fi and they've got electricity. So you've suddenly got this ability to reach people that traditional finance hasn't necessarily been able to either help or empower. And I do believe that blockchain is getting us a lot closer to being able to help these people.
I absolutely agree. And one of the mistakes that I made in my last question, right, is again assuming that my friends who are asking these questions are a strong representation of the demand for this globally. What you just referenced is so important. I'm in the U.S., right, but if you look outside the US, the use case for stablecoins, for example, right, for remittance payments and cross border transfers is growing so fast, right? It's growing at such a high rate. Outside of the context of the U.S. and of maybe like Europe, right, is where we start to see these use cases really have a promising impact. I guess to like kick things off and get them off the ground, and then ideally over time we start to see these have a larger impact in the U.S., in Europe as well, with the tokenization of assets, with probably more of these, uh, real world asset, like fund managers being able
That's it.
to tokenize assets.
Stable coins is key, and like this is something that again, like just speaking personally, don't want to speak on behalf of absolutely everybody, but stable coins is absolutely key to really, if you want to take it back to that human layer aspect of empowering the human layer, then it's definitely key for that. One of the largest currencies by kind of volume outside of obviously the US dollar is the Turkish lira. And why is that? It's because a lot of users in Turkey that have been absolutely decimated by hyperinflation wanted to enter assets that hopefully wouldn't be affected by their like local hyperinflation, etc. But at the same time, they could exit into a currency that they can then use for their everyday life. So, and that's one thing that's definitely going to be a big focus for Kadena going forward is on stable coins and various applications of how that can help people and the use cases around it. Not just for maybe the obvious of trying to trade BTC, USDT, but other applications there as well. And really, you touched on it. It is it's something that the US dollar has definitely become number one in the stablecoin world. And you had news today from SocGen meeting the MiCA regulations on their euro stablecoin. Circle with their Euroc stablecoin again as well, and USDT actually being removed from some European exchanges because they don't meet it. So the game is definitely changing in front of our eyes, and how we hopefully adapt and work and pivot to make sure that it's a success is something we're definitely focused on at Kadena.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that because this has really been top of mind on my side as well at DIA in how we can continue to tackle and support right price feeds and provide data for all of these different stablecoins that are launching. So I'm happy to hear that you guys are having a strong focus on this and we can do this in collaboration with you guys. I agree. Like stablecoins for me are really becoming the best, or I guess rather the most used use case of, if you would argue, like DeFi right now, right? I read a crazy news title or news article the other day that suggested, or rather stated, that stablecoin issuers now are like the 18th largest holder of U.S. debt, right? And that like USDC has like holds more U.S. treasuries than like other nations. It's growing at such a crazy rate, and it's almost becoming so in our face that the use case is impossible to ignore anymore. Not that we
It's
were ever trying
crazy.
to, but
It's crazy, right? I
yeah.
mean, if you go back to when interest rates were close to zero, none of the stablecoin issuers had any interest in holding any kind of debt. And now that interest rates have obviously been going up, for the majority of them, they want to pass on that interest rate or interest born on the actual underlying currency itself to the users, which is fantastic, which is how it should be, and again, if you go back to that kind of tradfi and DeFi aspect of it, you get a savings rate from your bank, um, but they're taking a pretty kind of decent sized sliver of it, and that's definitely somewhat something that DeFi is trying to overcome. I mean, I've seen some interest rates on USDT, like 140%, from liquidity pools. I would love to find any kind of offering anywhere which is similar to that in the TradFi world. I think it is impossible, right? So that's something that DeFi can offer that TradFi can't. Obviously, not financial advice. Do your own research, but these are the opportunities that are out there right now.
You beat me to the NFA, not financial advice. Little disclaimer there. Anytime we're talking about yield in three figures, I'm gonna have to be very cautious on that. No, but definitely super interesting to see how this is growing and exploding, right? Reaching this like Cambrian explosion point of adoption here in terms of stables. I want to switch up a little bit, bring the conversation back in, and talk a little bit more about our connection, right? The partnership in between Dia and Kadena,
Definitely, yeah.
and furthermore the integration and what this means for the Kadena ecosystem. Could you talk about this? Maybe just elaborate a little bit on the importance of Oracle tooling on chain web. It'd be super interesting, I think, for your audience in the Kadena ecosystem and our audience at Dia to better understand any context of how this came to life. And like, this is not a copy paste EVM integration, right? This is chain web that's proof of work, written in Pact with different braided chains. Can you give a little bit of background, I don't know, on sort of like how this fits into the Dia, or rather how Dia fits within the context of Kadena's architecture?
Definitely. I mean, so we did quite a comprehensive review across a lot of the different Oracle providers, and you guys came out, very, very high on a lot of different metrics, which is why we really were keen to partner with you guys. We have a lending protocol that's going to be launching hopefully in the next maybe couple of weeks. We've got, which is obviously going to be using the pricing oracle that you guys are providing. We've got a bridge that's coming as well. Hopefully end of August, maybe beginning of September sometime. Obviously, don't hold me on specifically on the full dates, but that's the very likely scenario. And Dia's pricing fits into both of those. We've got obviously some on-chain dexes and how we can maybe introduce those dexes into some additional aggregators. Plus, we've got a whole load of community of builders that are building other bits and pieces, and they want to get a whole multitude of different pricing involved in their applications. And now they're able to do that, through the Oracle that you guys are providing.
Yeah, it's super exciting. I think that on my end, it's the most fun part of the collaboration is after the integration is live, and then really being able to support the dApps in the ecosystem. Right now, we've worked together to make sure to finalize the integration and collaborated between our teams on the technical side. And now, Nick, you and I get to collaborate more closely on the rather the BD and the outreach side, really supporting all these different dApps and making this come to life and satisfy the needs of the different teams in the ecosystem. So it's exciting to see this, and really excited to kick this off in this next stage of our partnership here. And thank you for adding the context on that.
No problem. And just to say as well, it's obviously because we're a proof of work with our own smart contract language. It isn't just a kind of plug and play. And the integration work that the guys in your team did, and obviously some of the assistance that our team did, but it went extremely smoothly, and I could not have been happier for the for how it turned out, and how unstressful it was. So really, hats off to everybody that did that, and got the job done.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Getting outside of the EVM environments is promising for us, I think, right? We get to partner with new innovative environments where dApps are pushing the frontier, right? Teams that have decided not just to copy paste into a new ecosystem. While we love the EVM side, we find that there's pros and cons to both. And so, kind of like some of these pros and cons you addressed earlier, but I think it's a great opportunity for us from both sides to go forward here.
I know. Look, I
And
know you're a big fan of Bitcoin layer twos, as am I, and so expanding into that whole network of ecosystems is, I think, really important for even blockchain itself. And so much TVL is trapped. I don't want to say, maybe trapped isn't the right word, but should we say cemented in that Bitcoin overall? Like 5% of Bitcoin's TVL is actually distributed anywhere. And then even wrapped Bitcoin on ETH makes up a big part of the ETH TVL. So the fact that you guys clearly see you know other other ecosystems which aren't necessarily EVM as having progression is a really good thing, I think, for the whole industry itself.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity, right? I agree. I mean, there's so much liquidity locked in that ecosystem. That's such an opportunity. When and like we're discussing the pros and cons of or rather the pros of proof of work, right? When you're envisioning all of these trillions or let's say billions of real world assets that will be collateralized and brought on chain, where is this going to end up? Is it going to end up in the most decentralized and secure ecosystem that there is? We'll see. I'm not sure actually. I'll actually ETH is making a large promise for tackling and bringing those assets on chain as well. So I don't want to get ahead of myself and make any
Don't
false
forget
claims here.
Solana. Don't forget
That's true.
Solana as
That
well,
is
right?
true. That is true.
One of my favorite, and obviously being kind of like the DeFi guy at Kadena, one of my favorite DeFi projects is Jupiter Exchange, and had the pleasure of meeting one of the co-founders there in Austin, and it was it's fantastic just what they're trying to do, how they're trying to keep it extremely simple, but at the same time effective. So, making sure that all of the interoperability between these chains does continue, and, capital will reside where capital feels it's most efficient, to be placed. So, having that interoperability and giving the people the option of moving capital around is extremely important for the success of this industry as a whole.
Absolutely agreed. And I'm really looking forward to that moment of inflection when liquidity becomes less fragmented and starts to become more collective. You know what I mean? I think that's going to be a huge advancement for this industry. But yeah, you're right. Can't forget about Solana, and there's a couple other like pretty notable ones up there as well. Just to kind of reel it back in. Sorry, I got a call there. I probably went out, but I'm back. Just to reel it back in, right? We've talked in depth already about the technical advantages of ChainWeb, the benefits that developers experience when integrating into the ecosystem. So apart from the technical aspects, you're in charge and the head of DeFi here, right? What does this look like from your side as it relates to ecosystem initiatives? Ecosystem initiatives for growing the user base, growing the amount of dApps. Maybe this is a good chance to like kind of share with anybody in the audience who's a developer and might be interested in exploring the ChainWeb ecosystem. Are there any types of ecosystem initiatives that you think they should be aware of, or what has been successful in the past in terms of growing the developer base?
Yeah, I mean, our CMO is probably going to already kill me anyway because I put some dates on when some things should be coming out. But from a perspective of getting developers to join the ecosystem, we're looking to really try and innovate. And it's not necessarily just about maybe replicating or a lot of what do you get with a lot of EVM chains, which is forking, etc. That's fantastic. It's great maybe forking something, but maybe innovating and taking that thing to the next level, or even coming up with a brand new idea. If I can talk about another project that's recently kind of joined the Kadena ecosystem called Finu Labs, and it's a predictions market based on predictions for financial markets, whether it's going to be what do you expect the interest rate to be, what do you expect GameStop shares to be, or obviously they've got a lot more than that, but it's an interesting product that actually can generate value. People can use it to either hedge positions, take positions outright, etc., all done on chain. You know that you're not going to have some broker that's going to give you maybe not the best price that you would be getting somewhere else, and you're actually completely and utterly in charge of setting up your own positions. And the team there literally came in with the idea, um, looking for a grant, and it's exactly what our kind of grants program was set up for, which is innovating, driving actually the technology that we've got on Kadena, smart contracts that are doing stuff that haven't been done before, um, and really growing the user base. And I think they had something crazy like 100,000 plus sign-ups and 60,000 users getting stuck in, which are great numbers, especially for anyone that's wanting and wishing the Kadena ecosystem to do well. And that's literally just from one DApp. So if you've got an idea, if you really want to get stuck in, if you think you've got an opportunity to build something great, and maybe you don't want to do it in Solidity, then Kadena could be the place.
That's excellent. I mean, we definitely found it to be the place of opportunity at DIA, right? So can
And
attest.
they should be using your price feeds for some of the stuff as well, just so you know, Dylan.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Definitely. Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Any developers in need of on-chain price feeds, right, in need of oracles, feel free to reach out to us. Now this partnership is live. We are on, I don't want to be mistaken here, but I'm going to take a stab at it. I think we are on chain 6. Is that correct?
Chain 4.
Chain 4. You knew I was gonna say 4. I started saying 4, and it came out like 6.
You're on chain 4, but the prices will be available across any of the other chains as well. And
that's correct.
It's something that we've been getting stuck into. So, look, we're absolutely delighted to have it. We've got plans, and obviously this is my job of trying to get buy-in and persuading the right people to say yes. But we've got plans for a few more 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 dev 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 a few more dev